Hey guys, the Explorer 4 here, Horrorboy465. Welcome back to some more videos. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Hatchet franchise. Now I'm reviewing Hatchet 1 today. I might review Hatchet 2 later on today, I'm not too sure. Depends on how busy I am. But I did want to talk about the first Hatchet. Now, I know, like, different scenery in the background, not in the storage room anymore. I don't know why before I didn't just come up here to make the video. Maybe it was because I was just chilling downstairs and I figured I'd make the video down there. But since I decided to come up here, like, it's more quieter. There's like more space just to sit down and make a video. In the storage room, I'm literally sitting there. There's like 1,000 things around me. Because downstairs storage room was like semi-quiet. But decided to come up here and film the video up here, and probably future videos be filmed up here as well. But yeah, today I'm going to be starting my reviews on the Hatchet films. Now, Hatchet, right here, this is the first movie I'll be reviewing in the franchise. Hatchet is a 2006 movie, directed by Adam Green. It's a 5.7 on IMDb. Now, Adam Green, I actually think is a pretty good director. He's made Hatchet 2. I think he wrote and produced Hatchet 3. He has made Frozen. Really enjoyed that movie. He did direct a segment in Chillerama with, like, I think, what was his name? David Lynch, I think? I think it was. It might have been David Lynch. But I know it was a group of filmmakers that got together and they had directed segments in this, in the movie Chillerama. It's an anthology movie. But I don't like Chillerama. I thought it wasn't that good. My personal opinion, I just did not enjoy Chillerama. But I know that he's made a newer movie called Digging Up the Marrow. I do want to see that movie. It sounds pretty interesting. But the Hatchet movies are very fun. They're very gory. They have lots of nudity. They have lots of really good humor in them. And I know that the opinions bounce back and forth between these movies. Some say they're not funny. Some say they're not entertaining. Some say they just flat out suck. In my opinion, they're really fun, they're really good, and they just show that you don't need a lot of money to make a good scary movie, to make a good fun time. You can make a really good scary movie on any kind of budget. You can, as long as you put effort into it, it can be a good movie. But that's just something that really shines through with this movie, Hatchet 1, is that you can really make a really great movie out of a smaller budget. And I just thought that, the usage of the budget in this movie was done very, very well. This is without a doubt my favorite of the films. Even though I do love the sequels, this is my favorite. I would say this is probably one of my favorite movies from the 2000s. I would just go out on a limb and say that. It's one of my favorite movies of the 2000s. Now, Hatchet, the way I got introduced into this movie was very interesting because it wasn't like I found out this movie and I was like, oh yeah, it looks like a good scary movie. No, how I found out about Hatchet was back in like 2009 or 10, I had read a book by Gary Paulson called Hatchet. And that movie is not a horror, that book is not a horror book at all. It's not scary or anything like that. It's about survival, about this kid who crashed in this airplane. And the pilot dies, and he's still alive, and the only thing that he has to help him survive in this wilderness is a hatchet. And I remember it being a very, very good book. I know it got, like, sequels as far as books go. I know that it was a very popular book, and I remember really enjoying it a lot. It was a really good story about this kid who had to survive by himself out in this wilderness, with nothing to help him besides a hatchet. Really, really good book. And it's about a year later when I got on Netflix and scrolling through the, I think, recently added list or something like that, they had Hatchet on that. And look at this cover. The lettering is even kind of like how it was in the Gary Paulson book. And I looked at the cover. I seen the word Hatchet. And I did not see the old school American horror, the unrated, the blood on the axe. I didn't see any of that. I just seen that it was called Hatchet. So I clicked on it, expecting to see a film adaptation of Gary Paulson's Hatchet. I don't know if that's out there. I'm very curious to see if it is. and if it is, I'm checking it out because I'm a big fan of that book. But I went into this movie expecting a Gary Paulson book adaptation. And the beginning of the movie is, I think, Josh from the Blair Witch Project and Robert Englund. You know, there are these they're hunting down crocodiles in the swamp, and they get killed by Victor Crowley. Um, Josh from Blair Witch Project finds Robert Englund pretty much in half, and Josh gets like his back ripped out, and he gets like pulled in half. And it was very gory and very well done effects, and all the effects in this movie are done practically. That's what I love about this movie, is that it definitely is an old school slasher movie. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's got gore, it's got nudity, it's got all that stuff. But when the movie opened up with that, I was blown away. I'm like, whoa, 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 there's no way this is a Gary Paulson Hatchet adaptation. There was never this much blood in that book. There wasn't really any blood at all from what I remember. I know that he got, like, in the book, he got, like, poked by a porcupine or something like that, like, on his leg or something like that, and there was a little bit of blood, but I don't think that there was that much blood in Gary Paulson's Hatchet, the novel, or the book. But, you know, with that opening, I, like, paused the movie, and I'm like, wait a minute. I gotta do some more research on this movie. I gotta find out if this is what I'm thinking it is. And it wasn't. I looked it up, and it was a horror film by Adam Green. Looked all that up, and I'm like, okay, it's a scary movie. I'll check it out. And I watched the rest of the movie finally in the horror movie mindset, and, you know, it's just a very fun time. It's a very entertaining movie. It's got a very good story to it, very simple but yet effective, very straightforward. Slasher movie, you know, kind of storyline where you got these guys, Marcus and his friend Ben. This is actually a very early film for Joe David Moore. I know that he'd also go on to be in a film called Spiral, which I haven't heard too much good things about, but, you know, I'll check it out. He also wanted to be in Avatar. That's a good movie. But Joe David Moore in this movie, he's pretty much the lead character. He's a good lead. Tamara Feldman as Mary Beth did a good job. I prefer Daniel Harris more, but still, she did a decent job. You also got Dionne Richmond from Scream 3 playing Marcus, Ben's best friend, pretty much. And Ben and Marcus, they go on this haunted swamp tour. And Perry Sean, who would go on to be in Hatchet 2 and Hatchet 3, he would actually survive Hatchet 3. And so yeah, Perry Shen, great character. Sean, I like how he has a twin brother in part 2. And then in Hatchet 3, it's not a brother. It's just like, you know, a random Asian guy. And there's even a joke in that movie. He's like, oh yeah, it's like because all Asian people look the same. It's hilarious. You know, it's a line from this movie. I thought it was a great line in that movie and a great scene. But Perry Shen is very fun in this movie. Kane Hodder playing Victor Crowley. Kane Hodder, I'm a big fan of him. He was in Ed Gein. You know, from what I've seen so far, it was a decent movie. He's also in Hatchet 2, Hatchet 3. He's also in Friday the 13th Part 7, 8, 9, 10. Just a really big fan of Kane Hodder, and he did a great job with Victor Crowley in this movie. And like I said, Ben and Marcus and Mary Beth, they're these characters on this bus, and they're going to this swamp for this haunted swamp tour. And when they get to this swamp, they get shipwrecked, the boat ends up messing up, they get stuck in a sort of restricted area of the swamp where nobody's supposed to go, and they come across a cabin or a house, sort of, where Victor Crowley lives. And there's an old story about Victor Crowley, or Hatchet Face, where he was a kid that was born deformed, and one day these kids were throwing firecrackers at him in his house, and the house caught on fire. And when you actually have Kane Hodder playing Victor Crowley's dad, so you got Kane Hodder playing Victor Crowley, but you also got him playing, you know, a character outside of the makeup, which is a good acting job in that. And you have him trying to save his son from the fire, and when chopping the door down, the axe goes through and hits Victor Crowley in the face, killing him. And, you know, it's a very good story, very good sort of ghost tale sort of thing. And while they're at this swamp, they are getting torn to bits, they're getting slaughtered, and bloody, gory mayhem. and it's just a fun time. You got death scenes like a belt sandwich to the face, and it getting raised up and like stabbed through a shovel handle. You got Perry Shin's death scene where he gets his head knocked off. Like Richard probably puts a shovel on his neck and like kicks his head off. Marcus gets like his arms torn off and thrown up against this thing, and his head just splatters. There's this one character that gets chopped in half with a hatchet. Very, very bloody scene. The craziest death scene of the movie is when this girl, she literally gets her face ripped open. You know, like right here, and ripped it back all in one shot. And it's just a fantastic makeup effect. And just very, very gory scene. Very, very eye-opening scene. Like, holy crap. Just, you know, tears her face open. Very, very well done effects. And what's really cool about this movie is that Hatchet is made by a horror fan. Adam Green is a big fan of like old school horror movies. So I believe he wrote this movie back when he was a kid, but you know, of course, when he got older, directed the actual movie Hatchet. But I know that he's a big fan of horror movies. He's gone to be in His Name is Jason, that documentary. So it's really cool that you have a horror fan making a horror film for the fans, really. So that was very cool. And just some very well done, you know, cinematography in the movie. It does have a decent atmosphere, you know, with the swamp and the murkiness of the swamp and, you know, just the overall atmosphere in general. The score, however, I'll be honest, it kind of sounds generic. I don't mind the piano theme, like the dun 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 dun, like that. I don't mind that, but really, if I think about it, honestly, the rest of the music in the movie is just really generic sounding. There's just even this one piece of music where these characters, they're going to a swamp and they're playing this happy music if they're going on this great adventure and something like that. They play that kind of music, and I don't know. For me, at least, it felt out of place. You know, didn't seem like it needed to be there. So yeah, the music was pretty forgettable, I'll be honest. A lot of the effects are very well done. John Carl Bigelow did the makeup effects in the movie, did a great job. And it's just very well directed, very well shot. The usage of the small budget is very well done. And just a really good story as well. Just very straightforward. Nothing confusing, nothing too complicated. It's just a straightforward comedy slasher film, or there's a slasher film with comedy in it. And the comedy is very well done. I mean, you got, of course, the joke that there's these two characters, or sort of like these happy-go-lucky characters, like old people, they're all happy and stuff like that. There's the dirty movie director, I think it's Doug Shapiro or something like that, and he's a fake and a phony, and he ends up being this perfect guy getting all these fake, they want to be Girls Gone Wild stuff, or Bayou Beavers or whatever, but it's not. It's a fake, you know, thing. He just doing it because he's a pervert. He's not really a, you know, director. And you got the beginning of the movie where it's at Mardi Gras. Some pretty good stuff. Lots of nudity in this movie. Of course, these two girls who are with the director Doug Shapiro, they're just hilarious. There's always this constant back and forth between them, and it could have made it annoying. But for me, I didn't think they were annoying. But they were just freaking hilarious characters, and the movie has just got so much blood in it, so much gore. It's just great. It's got a lot of nudity in it, which is really good. And you got a lot of just really well done stuff that you would usually see in slasher films. And, you know, it's just a well-made movie that I definitely that I definitely recommend. Adam Green made the movie. No, but I definitely recommend this movie. It's a very well-made movie, and yeah, for the first one in the franchise, it's without a doubt my favorite movie, and I really enjoy it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review of Hatchet, and I'll see you guys later on for my review of Hatchet 2. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.